Making it last is all I care to do. You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends forever, strengthening the ties that keep us together.
What role do employers have in creating safe places for people to process external, national, or global events? Welcome to Make It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Deal, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. And we're zeroing in on the workspace. And even though, yes, in this COVID era, people are saying, yes, but a lot of us are working from home now, yes, but some of us are still we go in sometimes and then we work from home. But either way, we still spend a considerable amount of time with our co-workers. So this is an important area to delve into. And we're going to be doing this with Nicole Coustier. Let me hope I got that right.
You did. It was beautiful.
Good stuff, good stuff. She's a life coach and she engages in what is called Aurelian coaching. And for somebody who probably didn't catch it on the first episode that we did, Nicole, what is Aurelian coaching?
I am a life coach for high achievers, and I also am a leadership development coach.
Okay, all right. So with that being said, what role do employers have in creating safe places for people to process external, national, or global events?
Yeah. So the short answer might surprise you. The short answer is that employers have no obligation whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's a caveat to that. When you enter an employment contract, the employment contract is a quid pro quo, right? I will fulfill these duties and responsibilities, and in exchange, you will pay me money.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. The employer doesn't need to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
However, smart employers recognize that you get the best out of your employees if you recognize that their emotional management and their emotional health is critical to performance on the job.
Mm-hmm.
And so while employers are not technically under any obligation to create a space for employees to process their emotions about global events, mm-hmm. about regional events, about things that are going on in their home lives, the smart employers are still flexible. The smart employers are still creating a safe place for employees. And the smart employers recognize that taking care of the whole of an employee will get better results in the business.
I know you've been enjoying the conversation, but we're going to take a little break and get a word from our sponsor.
Are you looking for one-of-a-kind products customized to suit your needs? Then shop at Trending Things, the place where customization is always an option. From personalized gifts to apparel, accessories, drinkware, and home decor, you name it, we make it. Get your favorite designs on any item for party favors, weddings, graduations, or any special occasion, all at affordable prices. What are you waiting for? Visit our website at trendingthings.com to order your trendy item today. Trending Things, bringing creativity to the things you love.
What then, well, are we talking literal physical places? Or what are we talking about? Because given that life has to a large degree become quite virtual, are we talking a physical place or space? What are we talking about?
Yes, back in the era when people go into the office, mm-hmm. it included both a physical space which may not be in the office,
Okay.
right? Sometimes the physical space is just the employee needs to leave that particular environment for a moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so allowing that was definitely the case in the past. Now that a lot of employees are working remotely and in the home, it means time. It really does translate to time.
Okay.
So for many employers who are counting minutes and closely monitoring the employees and when they're online and when they're doing that, the employers who are creating, quote, a safe space in terms of time for their employees to process national events or global events, those employers are more interested in results and outcomes. And they are not interested in micromanaging an employee's time as long as the employee is fulfilling the duties and responsibilities of their position. And they trust their employees to do so in a competent way.
You do know that a lot of persons are still, well, a lot of employers are still transitioning with the whole idea that if somebody's working from home or not literally where they can be quote unquote monitored, so some are still grappling with the fact that they can still be productive while they're still not being monitored. So what you're saying, I can envision some people thinking and saying, I don't know, because if they already have the luxury, because some people see it as a luxury of working from home, how then, if I do give them additional time, how then can I be sure that they will produce as I want them to?
Yeah. A lot of companies, especially when they are under inexperienced leadership, the leadership will look for ways to control a situation because they don't know how to measure success. And so for the experienced leadership or companies who understand what it means to trust an employee, they know that the results is all you need to monitor. Whether that's revenue or whether that's customer satisfaction or any of those things, those are the outcomes that should be monitored, and those are the outcomes that employees can be measured against. For those employers who are skeptical and that allowing employees to manage their own time is a good idea, well, there are companies out there like that. It's true, but they will have to learn the lesson of what it takes to do that monitoring and how burdensome it is to do that monitoring and how they lose the trust of their employees. Well, they will have to learn those lessons.
Let's flip it a little bit. What then, given what you just said, that employers really don't have an obligation to create that, as an employee, what then do you do if it is that you think you do need the time to process what's happening?
The employee has a number of different options. The employee can take the opportunity to be open with their managers or with company leadership and talk about what they need from the perspective of company goals and objectives.
Okay.
I need this space. I'm going to take this space in order to process these events. I recognize that you as the company have no obligation to me in this respect, but I'm going to take this time because I need it, and I will show you that it won't affect my performance at all. Right? I understand and appreciate that my role in the company is to deliver on X, Y, and Z. So I do all of that, and I can take the space I need as well for mental health. So an employee can do that. An employee can determine that if the company is not one of the smarter ones, if the company refuses to allow this space, that it may be better for the company to lose talent. And the employee might decide that my services are better employed elsewhere.
I know you've been enjoying the conversation, but we're going to take a little break and get a word from our sponsor. So, the whole idea of a branding strategy sounded so exotic and so fancy to me. But after having several conversations with Neon, I now have a clearer understanding. I am sure of what my identity is, what it is that I want people to see Noreen Daly as. Thanks, Neon. Thanks, Splint. Visit them at wearesplint.com.
What do you think then? Because I know with what has happened in the last year or so with this pandemic, people are paying more attention to their mental health. What then do you think can be done to help to even sensitize people in leadership? Because a lot of people in leadership now, in their minds, they're saying, if I have my own stuff to deal with it, I deal with it. Other person needs to just learn how to deal with their stuff. So what do you think can be done to help to sensitize people who will then have to make the decisions to give the employees the time off to process stuff?
Yeah, it's such an important question. And the greatest way to sensitize is a very rocky road.
Okay.
The employers who don't allow that will learn the lessons of losing talent or, having their employees distrust leadership or not respect leadership. And as a life coach for many leaders across many industries, what I see is that these people in leadership, they are actually not doing a very good job of just keeping all of their emotional, baggage away from the office. They are not as good at this as they think they are. And so there comes a breaking point for individuals, and everybody's breaking point is a little bit different. But I think under these extreme circumstances of the pandemic, what is happening is people are having to face those limitations and those restrictions. And so just by virtue of being in this pandemic, some of that sensitivity is occurring already.
That's true. As we're wrapping up the conversation, Nicole, I can basically think in terms of both roles, but if it is then that you're in an environment where your employer has not created that safe place for you to process, and it is not the type of environment where you can necessarily then ask for that time off to do that, what then is your advice to employees?
Yeah. So as an employee, a lot of times people have the belief that they have limited power. And I try to get the employees to realize that you are in complete control of your experience. You can decide what to do about that situation. And what you decide is right for you, and it might not be right for someone else. It may be a situation where you ultimately decide, I cannot stay here. It may be the situation where you decide, this is not the best environment. I would prefer a different environment, but I'm going to prioritize the needs of my family, and I'm going to stay here and get the paycheck. All these all these choices are available to the employee. They don't have to consider option A and option B given by the employer. The employee can put option C on the table for themselves, whatever that option be.
It's just, I guess, if nothing else, this pandemic has taught a lot of us is that you do have to take better care of you and look out for you. Because a lot of times, too often, people put their workplace above their own needs. So what you said just now is you just remind say, at the end of the day, do what's best for you and your family.
Yes, it's from a place of empowerment. You don't have to wait for your employer to give you permission to do any of those things. You can decide to prioritize your mental health. You can decide to prioritize your family. All of those options are available.
Thanks so much for sharing, Nicole.
Thank you.
This was Make It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. Until next time.
Are you struggling to become an effective communicator? Let Noreen Daly, the communications specialist, get you there. Services include communications consultancy, one-on-one coaching, public speaking and debate training, leadership and team building sessions, plus much more. Visit noreendaly.com for more info. Noreen Daly, redefining the way you communicate.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and